In this video, I'm going to tell you how to get the Collector Trophy to obtain all Relics and Sword Hilts. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel. We give you the secrets to crush God of War Ragnarok. So the Collector is the hardest trophy based on percent of all the trophies besides the Platinum. So this is the last trophy for a lot of people to get. And the issue with this is that you've got to... A lot of these hilts are associated with like kind of epic quests, so getting all the ravens, for instance, and open up all the chests there. Then it unlocks a fight, which I think one drops in, or killing all the berserkers, and then the berserker king, and a fight that drops a relic. So this is just the relics. I was like, sword hilts? There are no swords in this game. So let's go to there's a list of 14. We're going to go through the list. So it's just the relics. So I'll start from the top. Huldra Project. This shows up, I think it shows up after the main game. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but you won't find it until... I didn't find it until after the main game was over. The Hilt of Gram, the Hilt of Angrvadall, the Hilt of Dainsleif, the Hilt of Hofud, the Mystical Heirloom, right? This is the one that unlocks the fights with the trolls, and also that dragon on Dragon Beach. The Hilt of Ridill. The Glaive of Dodher. This was actually my favorite relic because it was like you couldn't miss hitting people with 3 Bifrost orbs. Talisman of Meign. The Hilt of Hrotti. The Hilt of Tyrfing. The Hilt of Forsbrandr, and the Hilt of Skofnung. Now this is where you get the 12 swords, but you only get this after you beat the Berserker King, and that's the hardest boss fight in the game, and all the Berserker fights are also very hard. So it's basically, you get this thing at the end of the game when you can't actually use it, so it's pretty useless in that sense. The Motsognir's Call. I'll go through just... So there are 14s. Motsognir's Call, Hilt of Skofnung, Hilt of Forsbrandr, Hilt of Tyrfing, Hilt of Hrotti, Talisman of Meign, Glaive of Dodher, Hilt of Ridill, Mystical Heirloom, Hilt of Hofud, Hilt of Dainsleif, Hilt of Angrvadall, Hilt of Gram, and Huldra Project number 9. Okay, so Huldra Project number 9, it turns Mimir's discomfort into a Bifrost blast against enemies. Kind of a longish cooldown. Brock and Cinderly carefully measured and constructed a harness to weaponize the smartest man alive. The Hilt of Gram grants a burst of rage that applies stun to nearby enemies. Once referred to the Dragon's Bane, Gram is what it once was, but it fell many foes before its days are done. The Hilt of Angrvadall slash 3 forward waves of light that deal increased damage against enemies afflicted with Sonic. And that has 102 cooldown with my cooldown at 231 at the moment. Hilt of Dainsleif, slam the ground to create an explosion of satyr poison, leaving behind a hazard. Upgrades increase the amount of hazards. So there you go. You get some poison effect. And then we're looking at the Hilt of Hofud. Distort space and time, creating a realm shift. Upgrades increase the duration of this effect, right? So I guess, yeah, if you're doing the realm shift, then it's a pretty long cooldown, right? But probably worth it to try out the realm shifts a little bit. And the Mystical Heirloom has the shortest cooldown, but that's just for awakening the trolls and that one dragon on Dragon Beach in Svartalfheim. And then the Hilt of Riddle unleashes shockwave to electrify enemies. Upgrades increase the area of effect. It's the sword that once belonged to the dwarf Regan. The sword now possesses the power of its former owner. The Glaive of Dodher, 3 Bifrost chakrams that swerve into enemies. This is my favorite. It almost never misses, is why I like it. And it's a ranged weapon. Grants a bonus, and it has a low cooldown, relatively. Grants a bonus to melee damage for a short duration. The Talisman of Meign upgrades increase the effect of its duration. A talisman so precious to the owner they held it close until their last moment. Would they have survived if they had dropped it? Yeah, so I mean, this is somebody that really likes to do melee damage close in. Hilt of Hrotti applies a mark to nearby enemies. Attacking a marked enemy reduces runic cooldowns of the equipped weapon. Killing a marked enemy grants a blessing of runic. Upgrades increase the duration of the mark. Said to be kept in Fafnir's storeroom, it must have been looted before the visit. The Hilt of Tyrfing, charge the sword to sacrifice health and deal damage based on the amount of health loss. Upgrades reduce the ability's cooldowns. This is a really short cooldown, but anything that sacrifices health doesn't seem like a good idea to me, so I'm not sure I would want to do this. Tyrfing has a long and bloody history. Perhaps it's better that only the hilt remains. The Hilt of Forsbrandr, push enemies back with a force that grants an aura of protection. Upgrades increase the duration of this effect. A sword forged to bring justice, protecting those with the righteous cause. So there you go. You get, this is a defensive one. The Hilt of Skofnung. The sword unleashes its power from souls within. The broken hilt of the King Hrolf Kraki, once known as the sharpest sword in the realm, it houses the souls of the king's 12 bodyguards. So this is the one you get by killing the Berserker King, and that's probably at the end. It is a very OP one, but it's got a very long cooldown. So you basically are probably only going to use it once in a fight, and since that's probably the last boss fight you have, it's kind of wasted at that point in the story. The Motsognir's Call, create a shockwave that deals high stun to surrounding enemies. Upgrades increase the strength of this effect. Kind of a long cooldown. Sindri's Tuning Fork. Excuse me. Somehow it survived Ragnarok. This was actually the last one that I picked up. This is in the prison that you'll be able to find after Ragnarok in Nilfheim. It's right next to the chest, so I kind of freaked out that I had 100% of the game, but I had I didn't know where this was, but it was right next to the chest in that prison, the legendary chest. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel. We give you the secrets to crush God of War Ragnarok. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite one of these relics, and good luck on the Platinum Trophy. Bye.